In John chapter 9, Jesus doesn't only heal a man's physical blindness, but he also heals a man's spiritual blindness. Oftentimes we get stuck in our own blindness and realizing that God can actually heal us. God can actually get us out of a stuck position in life. He can get us out of the situation we're in. But it's only up to us to be faithful and to be obedient to the Lord's instructions, where God can actually use us. God can step into our situation by using us as a vessel and an instrument so that he can be glorified. John chapter 9 verse 1, it says this: as he was passing by, he saw a man blind from birth. He was born blind. It says this: his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? What's interesting to me is that they immediately asked whose fault it was. Whose fault it was that he was born blind. They immediately thought that it was either the man or his parents' fault that this man was born blind. How is it the fact that this man was born blind, that he was able, that he sinned and he became blind from that happening? He was born blind. So what? He was born into sin and then he just became blind and that's his fault? No, that's not how it works. Just because your father or your mother sin does not mean that you are just born blind because of that. We are created in sin. Yes, we all know this. Adam and Eve sinned, and therefore they brought sin into the world. Therefore every birth after that was sin. It was created in sin. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that God is trying to show us that it is not the parents' fault and it is not this man's fault that it was because of his sin or his parents' sin that he was born blind. Watch this next verse. It says this. It says, neither, this is Jesus speaking, neither this man nor his parents sinned. Jesus answered, this came about so that God's works might be displayed in him. Therefore, this is saying that this came about so that God could be glorified through this miracle, so that God could be glorified, and so that he could be given the credit for this man being spiritually and physically healed. Jesus Christ entered into this man's situation, entered into this man's longing for healing. He was born blind, and years later, Jesus comes about into his life to show him not just the fact that he was physically blind, but that he was actually spiritually blind too. And now this man has been given a hope that comes through faith and obedience in Jesus Christ. Verse 4, it says this: we must do the works of him who sent me. This is Jesus speaking. We must do the works of him who sent him. Basically saying in this next verse, while it is day,